Okay, so I've been thinking a lot about bedrooms lately, and I bet a lot of you listeners have too.
Yeah, bedrooms are interesting, right?
They really are, because it's that one space that's totally yours, Like it's where you start your day and where you end your day.
Your sanctuary.
It's your sanctuary. So naturally, you want it to feel perfect,
Of course you want it to feel like you.
like a reflection of you. And sometimes I think we can get stuck in this cycle of like, oh, I like this, but I don't know why when it comes to design.
Absolutely.
But there's a way to get smarter about that, and that's by actually understanding different design styles.
I think that's a great point, actually, because when you start to explore, like really dive into different styles, you start to pick up on what you like and why.
It's almost like a shortcut to being more informed and, honestly, more inspired when it comes to making decisions for your own bedroom.
It is. It's like building this visual vocabulary that you can then apply to your own space.
Exactly. And that's what we're doing today. For this deep dive, we went deep into all sorts of research, like think stacks and stacks of books and articles.
You did all the legwork, yeah?
Yeah, you don't have to.
Exactly.
And our mission today is to break down 5 different bedroom design styles.
5 very distinct styles.
Yeah, 5 very distinct styles, and to really understand the elements that come together to create those styles. So we're talking colors, we're talking textures, we're talking those little decorative touches.
Everything that makes the space feel like that style.
Yes. So by the end of this deep dive, you'll have this awesome foundation of knowledge to draw from when you're thinking about your own bedroom. So are you ready to dive in?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so first up, we've got farmhouse style. And when I hear farmhouse, I immediately think like cozy and inviting and a little bit rustic.
Absolutely. It evokes that sense of warmth and a connection to simpler times.
Yeah, there's this almost nostalgic charm to it. So for those listening who are thinking, okay, farmhouse sounds great, but how do I actually achieve that look in my own bedroom?
Right. Where do you start?
Where do you start?
Well, a great place to begin is with the walls. White shiplap is like the quintessential farmhouse element.
Oh, the shiplap.
Originally shiplap was actually used on the exterior of farmhouses to protect them from the elements.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, but it's come inside in a big way, and those horizontal planks, they just create this lovely texture and a real sense of history.
It's so true. It just adds instant character.
And then, if you're lucky enough to have them, exposed wooden beams on the ceiling can really take that rustic charm to the next level.
Oh yeah, I can just imagine like those big chunky beams overhead.
Exactly. It brings in so much warmth and really emphasizes that connection to nature that's so central to farmhouse style.
And it makes it feel very authentic too, right?
Absolutely. Like you're in a real farmhouse that's been around for generations.
Okay, so we've got the shiplap, we've got the beams. Now, what about the bed itself? Because, the bed is the focal point of any bedroom.
Right. It's the star of the show.
Exactly.
So for a farmhouse bed, you really can't go wrong with a frame made from reclaimed wood.
Oh, reclaimed wood. I love that.
There's so much character in those imperfections. It's like each piece has a story to tell.
And it's so sustainable too, right?
Absolutely, giving new life to old materials.
So you've got that beautiful reclaimed wood frame, and then a really classic pairing for that is a tufted linen headboard.
That's such a good combination, right? Because you've got that sort of rough, rustic feel of the wood, and then the softness and elegance of the linen.
Yeah, it softens it up just a bit.
Exactly. It's a really nice balance.
Okay, so now the bed is looking good. What about the bedding itself? What kind of textiles feel right for a farmhouse bedroom?
Well, for that quintessential farmhouse feel, you really want to layer on the texture. Think about a patchwork quilt with all its different squares and patterns.
Oh, I love a good patchwork quilt.
And then pile on some throw pillows in muted tones like soft grays, creams, maybe some dusty blues.
So it's cozy, but not too overwhelming color-wise.
Exactly. You want to keep it feeling calm and natural.
Now, what about the other furniture pieces in the room? Like the nightstands and dressers?
Vintage pieces are perfect here.
Oh, I was going to say vintage. It just feels so right.
It does. Like maybe you've got these nightstands that have a little bit of wear and tear, some chips in the paint.
It adds to that patina.
Exactly. And then top them with some ceramic table lamps that have more traditional shape, maybe with burlap shades for that extra touch of texture.
Burlap shades, that's such a good idea.
And then, for the dresser, a distressed wooden piece with a large ornate mirror on top can be really beautiful.
Ooh, I love that. So you've got that contrast between the rustic wood and then the more elegant mirror.
Exactly. It adds visual interest and a little touch of unexpected glamour.
Okay, so we've got the furniture sorted. What about what's underfoot? What kind of rug feels right for a farmhouse space?
A braided jute rug is a great option.
Oh yeah, jute is so classic farmhouse.
It is. It's durable, it's natural, and it brings in another layer of texture without feeling too precious.
And what about window treatments?
Gingham curtains are almost synonymous with farmhouse style.
Oh, gingham.
Right. They're just so charming, and they add a touch of pattern without being too overwhelming.
And they feel timeless too, don't you think?
They do.
Now let's talk about the decor, because I think this is where the personality of a farmhouse bedroom can really shine through.
Absolutely. It's all about those finishing touches.
So what are some of the key decor elements for this style?
Well, you definitely want to incorporate woven baskets for storage.
Oh yeah, baskets are essential.
They are. They're practical, they look great, and they just reinforce that natural, organic feel that's so important in farmhouse design.
And they come in so many shapes and sizes, right?
You can find them for everything.
And what about bringing in some greenery?
Yes, potted plants are a must. They add life and freshness to the space and bring in a touch of the outdoors.
And maybe some framed botanical prints on the wall.
Absolutely, they're classic farmhouse, and they just add to that connection to nature.
Okay, so we've got the baskets, we've got the plants, we've got the botanical prints. It sounds like we've created this really warm and inviting farmhouse bedroom.
We have. It's a space that just feels cozy and welcoming, a place to really relax and unwind.
I love it. Okay, ready for a change of pace.
I'm ready. Let's switch gears.
Okay, next up, we're diving into Japandi style. Now, Japandi is this really cool fusion of Japanese minimalism and Scandinavian functionality.
Yeah, it's where East meets North.
It's like the best of both worlds.
Exactly. Combining that sleek simplicity of Japanese design with that cozy practicality of Scandinavian style.
So it's all about creating a space that feels both tranquil and functional.
Exactly. And both of those aesthetics really value natural materials, clean lines, and a sense of simplicity. So they actually blend together seamlessly.
Oh, that's interesting. So even though they come from different parts of the world, they have these shared principles.
Yeah, there's a real harmony between the two.
Okay, so if someone's listening and they're thinking, Japandi sounds amazing, but I don't even know where to begin, where do you start?
Well, let's start with the walls. Instead of paint, think about using light wood paneling.
Ooh, light wood paneling.
Yeah, it instantly creates this calm and neutral backdrop. And it's just so serene.
It's a really different look from the farmhouse shiplap too, isn't it?
It is. Shiplap has more texture and a more rustic feel, while paneling feels smoother and more refined.
More modern too, I would say.
Definitely.
Okay, so we've got our light wood walls. Now what about the bed, which, as we said before, is always the focal point of the bedroom?
Absolutely. And for a Japandi bedroom, a low-profile platform bed is key.
A low-profile bed. I can see why that fits in, yeah.
Yeah, it has that grounded feeling, and it's really in keeping with that emphasis on simplicity.
What about the bedding itself?
Keep it simple and elegant. Crisp white linens are perfect. And then maybe add a textured gray throw for a bit of visual interest.
So again, it's about that balance of simplicity and warmth.
Exactly. And you don't want to go overboard with color or pattern.
Okay, so we've got our low-profile bed with simple, elegant bedding. What about nightstands in a Japandi bedroom?
Floating nightstands are the way to go.
Oh, floating nightstands. Those always look so sleek.
They do. They keep the floor space open and contribute to that feeling of spaciousness.
And what kind of lamps would look good on those floating nightstands?
Minimalist ceramic lamps are perfect. Simple shapes, neutral colors, maybe a matte finish.
Okay, so the lamps are blending in and not drawing too much attention.
Exactly.
Now, for storage, like a dresser, what would you recommend?
A sleek wooden dresser, again with minimal ornamentation, is ideal.
So really letting the beauty of the wood shine through.
Exactly. And keep the top uncluttered. Maybe just a simple vase with a single branch in it.
Oh, that's so Japandi. Like a small, curated moment.
It is. It's about bringing in nature in a very intentional way.
And what about how you treat the windows in a Japandi space?
Shoji screens are amazing if you can get them.
Oh yeah, shoki screens.
They diffuse the light so beautifully, and they create this really tranquil ambiance.
They're so peaceful. And if someone can't find shoji screens or they're not practical for their space, what would you suggest?
Really simple blinds or curtains in a natural fabric would work well too. The key is to keep it light and airy.
Okay, so we've got the windows covered. What about the flooring and those final decor touches that really pull everything together?
For the flooring, a neutral toned area rug in wool or a natural fiber would be perfect.
So again, natural materials and a very neutral color palette.
Exactly. And when it comes to decor, less is definitely more in a Japandi space.
I was gonna say, you don't want to clutter things up.
No, every element should be carefully considered.
So what are some examples of decor that would work well?
Maybe a small bonsai tree.
Oh, I love bonsai trees.
They're perfect for Japandi. And some carefully chosen abstract wall art that's subtle and not too busy.
So overall, a very uncluttered and harmonious look.
Exactly. It's all about creating a sense of peace and tranquility.
I love it. It's so calming. All right, ready for a shift in gears?
I am. Let's do it.
Okay, now we're moving on to modern style. When you think of modern, what comes to mind?
Clean lines, definitely. And a sense of sophisticated simplicity.
Yeah, like everything is very intentional and well edited.
Exactly. Modern design is all about stripping away the unnecessary and focusing on form and function.
And I feel like materials play a big role in modern style too.
They do. You see a lot of metal and glass, which contribute to that sleek aesthetic.
And there's often a monochromatic color palette, but sometimes with a pop of color.
Exactly. You might have a mostly neutral space with like a bold accent wall or a brightly colored piece of furniture.
Okay, so let's say someone's listening and they're thinking, modern is my vibe. I want that sleek, sophisticated feel in my bedroom.
Right, so how do they translate that into an actual space?
How do they bring that to life?
Well, one way to create a really impactful focal point is to paint an accent wall in a deep charcoal gray.
Oh, I love a dark accent wall.
It adds depth and drama, and it can make the other elements in the room really stand out.
Especially in a modern space where you're often working with a more limited color palette.
Exactly. It's like that one bold move that really elevates the whole design.
Okay, so we've got our dramatic accent wall. Now, what about the bed? What kind of bed feels right for a modern bedroom?
A king-sized platform bed with a leather upholstered headboard is a great choice.
Oh, I love a platform bed. It's so sleek and low to the ground.
And the leather headboard adds a touch of luxury and sophistication.
What about the bedding itself?
High thread count white linens are a must for that luxurious feel. And then maybe add a geometric pattern duvet for some visual interest.
So the pattern is adding a bit of personality without being too fussy.
Exactly.
Okay, so the bed is looking good. What about nightstands and lighting?
Glossy black nightstands with clean lines would be perfect.
Oh, I love the contrast of the black against the white linens.
It's so striking, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then for lamps, contemporary glass table lamps with metallic accents would look really cool.
Glass and metal. Definitely modern vibes.
For sure. And what about art? What kind of art would you hang in a modern bedroom?
Maybe a large, abstract black and white painting above the bed.
Perfect. It adds a bold focal point, and it's very in keeping with the modern aesthetic.
And again, it's about keeping things simple and not overly decorative.
Exactly. Now, what about softening the space a bit?
Right, because modern design can sometimes feel a little cold if it's not done right.
That's true. So a plush area rug in a neutral tone is a good way to add some warmth underfoot.
It makes it feel more inviting. And what about window treatments?
I would layer sheer white curtains under heavier drapes in a matching gray.
Ooh, I like that. So you've got options for controlling the light.
Exactly. You can let in a lot of light during the day with just the sheers, and then close the drapes for privacy at night.
So it's functional and stylish.
And to really complete the space, you could add a cozy reading nook with a black leather lounge chair and a minimalist floor lamp.
Oh, I love a reading nook.
And maybe a few strategically placed plants to add some life to the room.
I was gonna say, a little greenery never hurts.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
So overall, it's about creating a space that feels refined and intentional.
Where every element has a purpose.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, ready for something a little more rustic?
I'm always up for rustic.
Okay, let's dive into rustic style. You know, rustic style is all about those natural materials and that warm, inviting feeling.
Yeah, it's like bringing the outdoors in.
It's like a cozy cabin in the woods.
Exactly. It's about embracing imperfections and celebrating the beauty of natural textures.
So if someone's listening and they're thinking, okay, rustic is totally my style, how do I get that look in my bedroom? Where should they focus their attention?
Well, if they have the option, starting with the architectural elements can really set the tone.
What do you mean?
Like if they can expose a stone wall or add some aged wooden beams to the ceiling,
Oh, yeah, that would be amazing.
it instantly creates that rustic, cabin-like feel.
Okay, so let's say they've got those elements. Now, what about the bed? What kind of bed works well in a rustic bedroom?
A wrought iron bed frame is a classic choice.
Ooh, wrought iron. That's a good one.
It's sturdy, it's timeless, and it has that slightly rustic feel.
What about the bedding?
For bedding, think flannel sheets and plaid blankets in warm, earthy colors.
Flannel and plaid. So cozy.
It is. It just makes you want to curl up with a good book.
Okay, and what about nightstands and lighting?
Wooden nightstands, maybe with a slightly rough-hewn or distressed finish, would be perfect.
And for lamps?
Lantern-style lamps with Edison bulbs would be really cool.
Oh, those would look so good.
They cast this warm, inviting glow that's perfect for a rustic space.
Now, what about a dresser?
A large wooden dresser, maybe with some visible wood grain or a slightly weathered finish, would be ideal.
And to complete the look?
Maybe a vintage mirror with a slightly tarnished frame on top and some candles in varying heights.
Oh, I love that. So you've got all those layers of texture.
It's all about creating a sense of warmth and history.
Now, earlier you mentioned an optional focal point for a rustic bedroom. What was that?
A stone fireplace.
Oh, a fireplace. That's the ultimate rustic touch.
It is. It just creates such a cozy and inviting atmosphere.
Even if you don't actually use it, it's just visually so appealing.
Absolutely. It's a great focal point for the room.
Okay, what about what's underfoot?
A plush wool rug would be perfect for adding warmth and texture.
Wool is so cozy.
It is. And for window treatments.
Maybe heavy linen curtains in a natural color.
Perfect. They add to that sense of warmth and coziness.
And now for the final touches, the decor.
This is where you can really let your personality shine through.
So what are some good decor elements for a rustic space?
Woven baskets for storage, antique trunks that can be used as side tables, lots of potted plants.
Oh, I love all of those.
It's about bringing in those natural materials and creating a space that feels lived in and authentic.
So overall, a very warm, inviting, and almost magical space.
Exactly. A real escape from the everyday world.
Okay, ready for our last bedroom style?
Bring it on.
Okay, this one is Scandinavian style. Now, Scandinavian style is super popular and for good reason. It's so light and airy, but it's also really cozy.
Yeah, it's a tricky balance to strike, but they do it so well.
It's like this magic combination of minimalism and warmth.
Exactly. It's about maximizing natural light and creating a space that feels both simple and inviting.
Okay, so someone's listening and they're thinking Scandinavian style sounds right up my alley, but how do I make it happen in my bedroom?
Well, the foundation of Scandinavian design is a light and airy color palette.
So where did they begin?
With the walls, keep them a crisp white.
White walls. That's so classic Scandinavian.
It is. It creates a sense of spaciousness and it reflects light beautifully.
And what about the flooring?
Light hardwood floors are the perfect complement to those white walls.
Okay, so we've got our white walls and our light hardwood floors. Now what about the bed?
A simple white platform bed is the way to go. Clean lines, no fuss.
That makes sense. Keeping it simple.
Exactly. And then dress it with soft gray linens.
Soft gray. Very Scandinavian.
It is. And then add a chunky knit throw in a soft color like blush or pale blue.
Ooh, a chunky knit throw. That adds that cozy factor.
It does. And it's that little pop of color that adds personality without being too overwhelming.
And what about nightstands and lighting?
Floating nightstands are a great choice for Scandinavian style too.
They seem to be popular across a lot of different styles.
They are. They're just so practical and they keep the space feeling open.
And for lamps?
Sleek table lamps with wooden bases would be perfect.
Wooden bases. That's a nice touch.
It brings in that natural element and adds a touch of warmth to the lighting scheme.
Okay, so we've got our bed, our nightstands, our lamps. What about a rug?
A large geometric patterned rug in shades of gray and white would look really nice.
So a pattern, but still keeping it neutral.
Exactly. And those geometric patterns are very typical of Scandinavian design.
Okay, and what about creating a little seating area in a Scandinavian bedroom?
A cozy armchair in a light gray upholstery would be perfect. Maybe with a knitted poof and a small, round wooden side table.
Ooh, I love that.
It's the perfect spot to curl up with a good book.
Okay, and how do we dress the windows in a Scandinavian space?
Floor-to-ceiling windows are ideal if you have them because they let in so much natural light.
And natural light is key in Scandinavian design.
It is. It's all about maximizing that light, especially during those long, dark winters.
So what kind of curtains would work well?
Sheer white curtains are the best choice because they let the light in while still providing privacy.
And now for the final touches, the decor.
For decor, Think about adding some framed black and white photographs for a personal touch.
Oh yeah, black and white photos are so classic Scandinavian.
And maybe a collection of ceramic vases in simple shapes and neutral colors.
So keeping it very minimal and uncluttered.
Exactly. It's about creating a space that feels calm and serene.
Wow, so we've covered a lot of ground today. We've gone from farmhouse with its rustic charm to Japandi with its tranquil minimalism.
And from the sleek sophistication of modern to the cozy, authentic feel of rustic.
And finally, we ended with the bright and airy beauty of Scandinavian style.
It's amazing to see how different colors, textures, and decor elements can create such distinct atmospheres.
And I hope this deep dive has given our listeners a better understanding of these 5 different styles.
And a sense of what they might want to incorporate into their own bedrooms.
Exactly. Because, understanding different styles is like having this secret weapon when it comes to design.
It is. It empowers you to make more informed decisions about your own space.
So now that you've heard about all these different approaches, I want you to think about this. What one element from one of these styles speaks to you the most right now?
Is it that farmhouse shiplap? The low-profile Japandi bed? The modern accent wall? The rustic wooden beams? Or the cozy Scandinavian knit throw?
If you found this video helpful or inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Interior Blockchain Studio for more expert design ideas, trends, and creative inspiration. Your support helps us bring you even more amazing content, so make sure to turn on notifications and stay updated with our latest uploads. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.